it's important to realize that there are two sides to this coin. There are the people that are like thriving and crushing it, and I want to high five you for just crushing it. And there are people that this is like their business just went under, and they don't know how to deal with their kids because they've never had to be home with them this many times. And like just them even getting out of bed in the morning is an accomplishment. And I want to high five you and say, you're doing it. Like, keep going.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Go Live with your host. I'm Joshua Scott. I am so happy to have the one and only Kiera Dent with me here today live. It's 12 p.m. Eastern where I'm at, but you're West Coast time? What are you Pacific?
Yeah, I'm Pacific. Yeah, it's actually noon my time. Is it noon your time? There's no way.
No,
it's what time is it?
It's 3 p.m. my time. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's noon.
No, I wasn't sure because you're Nevada is where you're at, right?
Yep, you got it.
Yeah. Is it
exactly.
Okay. Yeah, so I just wasn't sure if that was
where I am today. Yes.
Usually you are like somewhere other than that. So I think that's kind of what was throwing me. Like, wait, where do you actually live?
Wait, where are you? Yes. No, I am here in Reno and it snowed this morning. So welcome to snow. I'm like, what is the weather?
Wow.
I thought spring, that groundhog lied. Spring has not come.
Oh man, that's crazy. Well, I am, look, I've got the hat on today just because I am 4 months into not getting a haircut. So I woke up this morning, I was feeling a little insecure. So we may see a lot of the hat this week on the Go Live.
Joanna just needs to YouTube it up. It's fine. Everybody's doing it right now. You'll be fine.
Everybody's saying that. I don't know how I feel about it, but because I'm like, it's a little complicated. Like to get a good fade, you can't just like.
Okay, here we go. We're going to talk about this. Truth be told, I learned how to cut hair when Jason was in pharmacy school because we were poor. So I was like, okay, I can learn this. And then it was great because he started getting his hair cut and I didn't have to do it anymore. Well, now we're back to the time. It worked great. I actually put a mirror in front of Jason. I've cut his hair. He actually had people say like, who cut your hair? It looks so good. I need them to cut mine. So it didn't turn out terrible, but the fade is tricky. The fade is tricky, but it helps because I actually stuck a mirror in front of him. And so you could have that. And you watch the girls cut your hair every time you go in there. Just tell Joanna how to do it and then do a little fade. You're wearing a baseball cap right now anyway. I mean,
I know. I'm texting my barber to see if he can actually make a house visit here this week. I'm like, bro, can you just come over, just set up in my driveway and cut it?
I'll wear a mask. You wear a mask.
Right.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, hey,
you look good.
I know you. So you kind of came back. You had this like trip of a lifetime thing happening. Because last time I saw you, we were at Voices of Dentistry, and actually that episode of our podcast is going up today.
Fun.
Yeah. So we thought we had you on. So we'll air those at the same time. But we saw you there and you were getting ready to go to Antarctica. So you went to Antarctica and you came back and kind of got into all this stuff, which is crazy. And we'll get to that. But first I was like, can we talk about Antarctica? Because I don't know if that's ever going to be a conversation that I'm going to have with somebody ever again online like this. So, I mean, first, like what made you want to go to Antarctica?
Sure. Yeah. So Antarctica, what's really epic is the fact that we got back from Antarctica because they actually did a drawing and a raffle on the boat saying like, hey guys, we had some people cancel they were doing another trip and it was going to be a 3-week trip. And I actually really wanted to go, but Jace had to get back. And so we didn't go. And no joke, on the news, our boat, the company, everything is circling in the water. They can't get back home. So that was the article I last read, like literally the boat that we got off of. I'm like, had we gone on that trip, we would be stuck. So I feel real lucky that I'm home. But Antarctica, I decided to go because I thought it was going to be the hardest continent to get. I have a goal to hit all 7 continents. I actually have 1 continent left and it's Asia. So that's actually a way harder continent to get than Antarctica right now. Surprise. So we had planned to go to Asia actually in May for my birthday. So it was going to be like 7th continent. It was going to be super fun. And that's why we did Antarctica. So my brother is kind of a cool guy and kind of a jerk. And he challenged me to hitting all 50 states in 1 year.
Okay.
And so that's what I did in dental A team. And then I did that twice. And he was like, Kiera, you need a harder goal. How about you do all 7 continents in 1 year? So we were actually going to try and hit all 7 in 1 year, but it's kind of with the world changing. I don't think I'll hit the 7 continents in 1 year. But yeah, so that's why I did it. I decided to do it before we had kids, a trip of a lifetime, and it was unreal. It was incredible.
Can you imagine if you were still stuck on a boat? I mean, that'd be just...
No, because we read, so like our room was smaller than my office here. It was so tiny. It had 2 teeny tiny beds, smaller than a twin bed is what we slept on. Like it wasn't a bed together with 2 separate sides, a tiny little like walkway between us. You had to have everything like anchored down because it's a boat, and we rocked so much crossing the Drake Passage. I almost fell out of bed. Like I woke up falling out of bed one night.
Oh my gosh.
The shower was so small. You could literally like sit on the toilet. You could wash your hair, and I could have like, I brushed my teeth. So like several mornings I'd wake up and I'm like, let's be proactive, like brush my teeth. It was so small in there. And they were saying they wouldn't allow passengers to leave their cabin for, like they've been in their cabins for multiple days. And I, like the thought of sitting in there, I would have died. It was so small.
Oh my gosh.
I hope they're okay. I hope they got off. So yeah, that. No, I can't even imagine for 2 seconds had that been what we had to do. So
Joanna and I did our first cruise last October, and we've always been a little bit like, are we gonna like this, just because of that claustrophobic kind of feeling. And it was fine. We had a ton of fun, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm watching these like cruise ships still outside of Miami that are just sitting there. And I mean, I think one of them since March 12th, and I'm just like, I couldn't do that. No. So,
well, I feel like a cruise ship, we've said this, we're not big cruise fans. We went on one right after we got married. And I remember Jason had a professor in pharmacy school have a picture of a petri dish and a picture of a cruise ship. And they're like, literally, it's like a petri dish of disease. Like that's all these cruise ships are. People get sick on these things. So it was nice because it was a cruise, but it was an expedition. So we were off the boat every single day, multiple times. So it was just glorious. It was so lovely.
Okay. So how long did it take you to actually sail? Because you flew into South America, like Argentina? Mm-hmm. Like where? Okay. What city?
Yep. So I went LAX to Buenos Aires. So we had a nonstop LAX to Buenos Aires. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then we had a layover in Buenos Aires. Yeah.
And then how long did it take you to actually get on the boat? I'm just looking at a map here. I may put this up here and say, but how long did it take for you to get across to Antarctica?
Okay. So we went from LAX to Buenos Aires. Then we had to stay a night there. And then we flew out early the next morning from a place called Moron. I don't really know how to say it. Okay. But we flew from there down to, it's Ushuaia. I thought it was Ushuaia. It's the very southern tip of Argentina. Okay. So all the way down there. So that was about, here we go. Okay. So, and I actually did like a little funny video. So if you go up to Buenos Aires, it's about a 3.5-hour flight from Buenos Aires.
Okay. Right
down.
Here.
Yep. You have to fly all the way down to the southern tip of Ushuaia. So all the way down there. Yep. And so that was about a 3.5-hour flight down there. We had to get there a day before the boat took off. So at this point, we're already 2 nights in. Then the next morning, we're in Ushuaia. We don't get on the boat until about 5 o'clock the next day. So it took me, I left LAX on the 19th, February 19th, and I didn't actually get on the boat. It was the 19th, 20th, 21st. I think we left on like the 21st or 22nd. I can't remember. I should go back and look at my dates. It just was, I felt like it was an eternity before I even got on the boat.
Yeah.
So then once we got on Ushuaia, then we get on a boat and we travel all night long. So you're going to go down across that open blue area. Yeah. That takes 2 days to cross the Drake Passage. Whoa. It's either called the Drake Shake or the Drake Lake. So it's either going to be like crystal calm or you're going to be shaken. And we were shaken. Yeah. Like, it was nuts.
Did that make you nervous at all?
So I got really, really, really nauseous when we traveled for our honeymoon. Like I threw up bad. So luckily I took a I was always a big fan of Dramamine, but I actually took a different medicine and I can't remember what it is. Anyway, if anybody wants, it was way better than Dramamine. I wasn't drowsy. I wasn't anything like that. So it was so much better. So yeah. But no, it wasn't too bad. And then I was trying to pull up my map. I mean, I should have they tried to sell it for like 10 grand on the boat. It was ridiculous. They did this like uncomfortable auction. Here we go. Yeah. So we went, I was going to show you on your map, like we went down, I should have texted this, but basically that whole peninsula, we were all over in there and we were really lucky. We got unicorn days. So yeah, if you look in there, so there's like the base Marambino, all that. So like down there, right in that area.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, so we were down there and there was Port Lacroix. There was, we went there. We saw a lot of bases where they're doing research, but yes, right in that peninsula. We didn't go much further than just those little islands right up there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we kind of went down the peninsula and then, let me see as I'm looking at the map right there. So if you go back up, I'm not great with maps, guys, complete honesty there. But yes, so those little islands at the top of your screen where it says like Base Presidente. So right there, we stayed a little bit, not necessarily there, but like in that area to the left, just a skosh.
Okay.
Yep, right in that area. Then we crossed down to like the main peninsula where it says General Barandino. And that was pretty much the area. Like we went all down that area.
Wow.
And then, yeah, so it was really cool. There was a lot of stuff there. But that was basically the area we went to. So we saw some of those little islands, and then we actually stepped foot on the actual continent, the part that's connected. They're like, if you were to walk here, you could cross all the way across.
Oh, wow.
So it was unreal. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And we just got so blessed. They called them unicorn days.
Okay.
Usually, I read other documentaries, and people can't actually get onto land because it's so stormy that they actually just cancel it for safety. But we got off the boat 8 times. So they would take us in the morning, we'd get back on the boat, eat lunch, and they'd take us out to another location in the afternoon.
Wow. Well,
it was amazing.
Out of the whole trip, like what were some of your top highlights?
Okay, so let's see if I can share screen. I did pull some of these up for you guys so you could see. Yeah. Let me just expand. So honestly, my favorite part were these incredible icebergs. So let me zoom in a little bit. This is not Photoshop. There's no color, but you can just see these icebergs were unreal. It was just stunning. And then this one, you guys can see this was a seal just hanging out on an iceberg, just sitting there, and you got so close to them. They were just so beautiful. And then this little baby penguin, so stinking cute. Penguins I thought were so cute. This is called, I think this is a Gentoo penguin. Okay. We saw a Gentoo, a chin strap, and an Adele penguin. I learned all the difference, but honestly, penguins are so cute and they look so fluffy, but they smell so bad. Penguin poop, like they launch their poop. It is so gross, so disgusting. So there's a little penguin. I was fascinated by the icebergs because so much is just down below them that, I mean, it's just unreal. And the blue. That is so cool. This is another one of my favorite pictures we took of just like the different blues and clear.
Gosh, the color is crazy.
And then, of course, I actually did do the polar bear plunge. That water was so cold. I wanted to die. It was 30 degrees, I think, the day we jumped in.
Oh, my gosh.
It was so unreal cold. And they actually had to tie a belt on us because people get too cold. They don't come back up. So my body was unreal cold. So those are just a couple of the beautiful highlights of the place. But I mean, we saw penguin colonies everywhere. We had beautiful sun. It snowed on us one day. But yeah, those were some of the most beautiful pictures. Those icebergs. It's called the iceberg graveyard where I was showing you those pictures. Yeah. But tons of penguin colonies and icebergs. And
that's crazy. Amazing. I've been in South Africa a few times down at the tip, Cape Town. And yeah, penguins everywhere. And yeah, it does not smell good at all.
That is a smell that gets stuck in your nose and it won't go away. Like you're just like, this is disgusting. But I mean, the wildlife in Antarctica is so serene and so beautiful. And it's actually, I've reflected back based on where we are today and in society and what's happening with COVID. And I reflected back because I started noticing in Antarctica that everything in nature does it on its own time. So, I mean, those icebergs, I wanted to watch them flip. Like, we actually saw an iceberg like sheen off the whole side, and it was so cool. It was amazing. Wow. But I realized, like, no matter how much I wanted it to shear off, it did it on its own time. And when I wanted to see a whale, like, whales would come up. I mean, we had a whale less than probably 2 feet away from our little Zodiac rubber boat. Just amazing, the sound, and it's right there, and the seals and the leopards. That we had a leopard seal try and, like, it actually bit on the back of our boat.
Oh my gosh.
That one was terrifying to see a whole mouth just open up at us. But I realized, like, nature does it on its own time frame, and there's beauty in seeing it stay still, and then to have the crazy episodes of wind and rain and the catastrophes. But everything in nature, there's so many things, like the icebergs, they dig so much deeper than what we can see on the surface. And just reflecting that that's our lives as well. We have icebergs, we've got time, we've got no time, we have, it was crazy. I mean, those seals sleeping on an iceberg for hours, and then they'd get in the water and they'd go find food. Or, you know, I saw a seal get attacked and like drug off an iceberg with like blood trailing after, and I'm like, that's a bad day. That's a bad day. And yet, how often is that the same for all of us in our everyday life? Sometimes we feel like that seal drug off the iceberg, and like, we've just been spleen apart. And then like there's the beauty and the majesty that we experience as well. So it was like, I told some people, there aren't words that I know to describe the awe, like the breathtaking beauty down there. You just feel, you're like, like going back and forth between life and death. Like, you're in this place of elements that can destroy you and kill you, and it has to several people. And then you're in this place of sheer beauty that just, like, you can't even comprehend what's in front of you. And you're just kind of like toggling between the two. So it was a pretty incredible place.
Yeah, gosh, that's a strong analogy for right now. COVID came up and dragged you off the iceberg, and it looks all bloody and all crazy, but there's beauty on the other side. So
there is. It's one of those things, like, I think about myself on that. I'm like, am I the seal today? Am I the like majestic iceberg that's poised, that's just sheer beauty? Am I sitting there like bathing in the sun like these seals are? Am I the whales that, and just to think that in due time, everything pans out perfectly. And it's beautiful, the process of all of it. And I think right now I'm having to remind myself that this is a beautiful time. This is the other side of the coin. This is opportunities that I don't normally have. And it's just really about my mind and how I choose to see it. I mean, we were drake shaking for days across the ocean, but yet there was beauty and majesty in that as well. So there's like a slower pace of life, and just seeing, I mean, gosh, that was like white capped, but it was weird. I expected Antarctica to just be like sheer white, and there was dirt and rocks everywhere. And I was like, what is this? Like, I didn't expect like dirt.
Yeah. Like
dirt.
land.
So, right. I was like, oh, there's actually land. It's not just like ice out here. So it's pretty incredible.
I love that. We've definitely got some viewers over at Facebook. So everybody over at Facebook, if you have a second, say what's up to Kiera. And Janet says, she says, I don't care that they smell terrible. I want to smother baby penguins with my gloves.
Okay, you need to go to Antarctica, because these penguins literally come up, and they got so close. We would walk in between them. We had to be careful. I didn't know there's this thing called the great molt. The great catastrophic molt. I had no clue. You probably know, Josh, of having this.
I don't.
Like, they literally, so they have this point in time after they have their babies, and it's the catastrophic molt. So they are all sitting there so uncomfortable. They can't eat for, I think, 3 weeks, and they just sit there. They've got to let all their feathers come up, because they're not waterproof, so they can't swim. So there are feathers going everywhere. There's poop flying everywhere. But these penguins are still so cute, and they would like walk up to us. I mean, one lady had a little orange tag on her pants, and I think the penguins thought it was a mama beak, and they came up right to her pants. Like, you could literally, I mean, that picture I showed, I wasn't zoomed in. I was that close to take a picture of these little baby penguins.
Wow.
But they're pretty cute. And to see them, I mean, gosh, watching them feed their babies is an experience that you've got to have a strong, I mean, they just like throw that stuff back up and feed their babies. It's fun to watch them. They have penguin highways. I didn't know they had penguin highways. So they actually have like all these highways where the penguins walk up and down. So they're so stinking cute. I'll have to share you with some pictures for you guys. But
Yes. Gosh, it's like borderline National Geographic right here.
I felt that way. Yes.
Yeah. So, well, hey, for everybody,
yes, go snuggle them.
For everybody out there that maybe might not be familiar with the Dental A Team, why don't we start there? Give us a little bit of the background, what you guys do, how you got started, all that, just for some context.
Yeah, of course. So I started in dental. I was a dental assistant and then a treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, taught at a dental college. And I actually opened up a practice with a student. I was an owner in it. And we took our practice from $500,000 to $2.4 million in 9 months. We bought another practice. And in the last, it's 5 years now, there are 7 practices. But we had rapid growth at the beginning. And I realized I was doing a great job helping this one student, but there were so many other students that I could be helping. So I decided, I have no idea what a consultant does. I'm going to start a consulting business. I literally had no idea, never worked with a consultant in my life, and decided I wanted to be a resource for all the students at Midwestern that I'd helped, that I'd seen in school, so that way they could succeed. So I begged one of my friends to literally let me come in and like practice on his office. I didn't know what I was doing. And we took him, he was doing about $75,000 up to $120,000 his first month when I went into his practice. And I was like, okay, we're on to something. We need to share this. So over the course, it's been just about 2.5 years. We started up a coaching business. We have about 165 offices globally. And we basically, we're the team. We're all things team. I believe that so many things in dental school, they didn't teach about how to run a practice and how to get your team to be accountable and what an office manager should actually do. I didn't know. I was an office manager and had no clue what I was supposed to do. Somebody said, "Hey, Kiera, are you running meetings?" And I was like, I didn't even know I was supposed to run meetings. Like, did you do these KPIs? I'm like, I don't even know what the heck a KPI is. That's downright true. And so we decided to make a coaching business, and we actually made our online podcast as a resource for teams and for doctors to have support with that. And then we have the online Dental A Team, where we built out a course for every position with a workbook, with like how-tos, the operations manual. Oh, that's a beast in and of itself. I didn't know how to make an ops manual. So basically just everything I wished I would have known as an owner of a practice, because I still own those, and also as a team member, what I wished I would have known. We kind of just brought all that together, and then we help offices, whether you're the DIYer and you just want to have like a game plan of where to start, or you're the doctor that's like, hey, come in and like shape my team up for me, because it's a lot easier to bring somebody else in who's not me and really help us out. So we travel in office or we do virtual coaching. But really we've been real blessed. We've had a lot of clients and a lot of podcasters, and that's in a nutshell what the Dental A Team does. We're inspired by you guys. I love, Josh, what you guys have of Your Story Matters. And I was very inspired by that. And I wanted to have a tagline that resonated like yours did. So our tagline is, your success is our passion.
Yeah.
And that's really what I think embodies what the Dental A Team is.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and you guys did, such a good job that, you actually got the attention of like Mark Costas, and then you guys have shared some clients there and have done some work together as well. So what, like when you came back to this, so you come back from Antarctica, did you get back on the road in some practices, or did the whole thing just kind of shut down then?
It was pretty much shut down. I had one of our coaches flew to one last office. I told the coaches, like, guys, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Jason's a pharmacist in the hospital. I also equally thought this was like a bad case of the flu. And I was like, this is ridiculous. They're blowing it out of proportion. Excuse me. And so we got back. I actually got officially back. I totally played hooky, and I had made a goal for myself in January. And if I completed the goal, I was going to go to Disneyland. So I talked Jason we flew back from Antarctica.
Okay.
I talked him into going to Disneyland. So we went to Disney, which I'm glad we did, because that's closed now. And we actually got back officially March 4th. And I was supposed to fly out to a client the following Wednesday. And it was to Vegas. It was a quick in out, and my flight got canceled. So I rescheduled it for the next week, because we were supposed to go to Havasupai, and clearly everything at that point. So pretty much from that time on, we have not been able to travel at all. So it was a wild welcome back.
Yeah. Yeah. How has that been for you personally? Because I know you're used to going pretty fast and you're on the road a lot. Just between Antarctica and all of this, probably, does it feel like this massive extended stay? Like personally, how have you been dealing with that?
So to be completely honest, this is the longest Jason and I have been together since he graduated residency or pharmacy school 5 years ago. I have not seen Jason consecutively for this long since residency. So that's a weird adjustment to be around him. Like blessed and cursed all mixed into one. Jason does work at the hospital. He is frontline. So he still goes to work every day. The curse is it's a stressful feeling of, is he going to contract the virus? What's going to happen? So that piece is the scary piece. But being home, gosh, I feel lucky. We had made this my office before because I would work from home. So I feel very lucky that my whole company has always been a virtual company. I've never had my coaches close by me. So from the time I started it, it's always been virtual. So that wasn't a crazy change. But for me personally, it's been a lot of, I think it's a challenge of mind at this point. It was, okay, this isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. What types of things do our clients really need? What types of things can we build as value? We have so much valuable resources. I was like, gosh, they can train their teams. They can make their ops manuals right now. You guys can perfect your systems. So I'm constantly trying to put out content on the podcast. And then also our products, we just revamped it. We just released a whole hygiene training. So you can actually train your hygiene team right now and have them, because I've been thinking, what do doctors need? They're going to need to fill their books as soon as they get back in. They're going to need to have a different process for scheduling. They're going to need to have their operations manual, their protocols done like a faster way to hire, because they're going to need to bring in more people to hire. Yeah. Like we don't know what's going to happen, but I'm trying to project and assume. So it's been really trying to figure out, thinking of you guys 75 steps ahead, how can we really give you resources and opportunities right now to not let yourselves go stir crazy? And I'm guilty of that too. I mean, behind the logo on the board, I'm so clever. I put the logo up, but behind it's also my whiteboard. So behind that, I have my pools of personal and business, and then I also have I have a Live to Give company that we're starting out. So it's like a community outreach company, because I get bored. I get tired of thinking about it and reading about it, that I need to switch it up for myself as well. That's why I say it's a battle of mind every day, of mind over matter, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And let's make sure we're really being truly productive with the time I have, and not burning myself out, not getting discouraged, not having depression, like all those pieces trickling in, I think is a reality for all my clients and for myself. I don't feel I'm above it at all. Dude, I get bored. Stir crazy. Get me out of these walls. Yeah. Like a roaming tiger in here. And then you put on Joe Exotic, and I'm like, I really am a roaming tiger. Get me out of here.
Oh man, we actually, Joanna and I just started that last night. We watched the first episode.
Nuts.
Yeah, no, I was just like, well, at first I was like, is this really happening in our country? Who has 200 some tigers, Right. But apparently, yeah, it's a thing.
I know. I was like, I was actually in Oklahoma, close by where Joe Exotic was. My brother went to college out there, and I'm like, I didn't even know. So yeah, first episode, I remember just sitting there. Somebody said it so perfectly. They said, I've done a really good job not touching my face until I watched Tiger King. And you're just literally like, oh my gosh, this is happening. So yeah. Oh man. How's it been for you guys though? How are you guys doing? Can you relate? Is that similar? Am I on my own island over here?
Oh no, gosh, it's so similar. I think we had this weird experience where we were at a conference delivering WOW. And came back. I closed the conference on Saturday, was the last speaker. And then so we flew back Sunday morning from New Orleans. And it was weird because we were in this bubble there, and stuff was happening, and the kids' school got canceled, and the NBA canceled, all this stuff starts happening. Yes. But you're like, I gotta speak. I'm here to speak. I can't, gotta focus, can't deal with that. There's nothing we can do, so just gotta focus. As soon as we got back, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a big deal. So it was a little crazy. So like, I mean, I knew coming into that Monday morning, got up early, kind of like had that personal time to myself before jumping into everything. And, that's been key, I think, is that morning routine. And I wish I was, I mean, like Mark Costas definitely is like, his 4:30. I'm like, dude, I want to be like you when I grow up. And he just, and this is like every day, he's like a machine. And I wish I was that way. Most days it's good, but man, there are some I'm just like, yeah, it can be a lot. And if I don't get that routine and I don't have that kind of just mindset, it can be hard to get back up. So yeah, I mean, what do you do? Like, do you have a go-to like routine, or how do you kind of get in that zone?
Yeah. To that point, I want to say I have a lot of clients, and I think that it's important to realize that there are two sides to this coin. There are the people that are like thriving and crushing it, and I want to high five you for just crushing it. And there are people that this is like their business just went under, and they don't know how to deal with their kids because they've never had to be home with them this many times. And like just them even getting out of bed in the morning is an accomplishment. And I want to high five you and say, you're doing it. Like, keep going. And I don't think there's a right or a wrong. And I think it's important to realize that there are two sides. So I can tell you that this is my routine. I'll also tell you that there are plenty of days that I have literally been like, I don't want to get out of bed today. I don't want to like face it. I don't even want to look at my emails. I don't want to hear the problems that are going on.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to realize, because I don't want to sit here and say, hey, Josh, like I'm super rad and I do this routine all the time, because I think I'll put a false precedence of what's reality for a lot of people. And I'm like, high five yourself that you're surviving during this time. High five yourself. If you're thriving, keep it going. If you're struggling, know that there's people just like you struggling, including myself. I mean, I had a breakdown the other day thinking of Jason working at the hospital, and like I had to call my attorney and get a trust in place, because if Jason dies or I die, like what does that actually look like? Those are things that I didn't think at 33 years old that could be my reality, and it can. People might be impacted by this, and guess what? Like, high five, you're surviving and you're dealing with whatever your reality is. So I say, like, just give yourself grace. Something I heard the other day is, before we judge, because I also think people right now might not put forth their best foot. They might be stressed. I know I haven't put forth my best foot every time during this. And instead of judging, just ask, how can we help? So I loved when I heard that, because I thought, yes, I am judging certain people. Like, why would they send that email, or why are they making these posts? And instead of us judging, let's just extend a hand of love and really, really love people around us. With that said, I have tried really hard to have a routine, because at the end of the day, that's the only thing I can hold on to. Like, nothing else is certain. That is something I can control. So I try hard to meditate. Calm is my favorite app. And yes, to Mark Costas's point, I give Mark so much credit. He has groomed me. He has helped me become a better person. And so this came from Mark. This has been years and years in the process, guys. I didn't start when coronavirus hit and said like, okay, I'm going to do this. This has been like years of working on. So I try hard. I do a meditation. So Calm is a great app. I found that's one of my favorites. Headspace is another one people like. Just find something you can do guided or timed. I think it's good, because right now, a few years ago, I struggled with really, really severe depression. And I found that if I could strengthen my mind, I could actually control my thoughts. And so that's why I continue to meditate. So like building that muscle to control your thoughts and to not be controlled by them. So meditation, I do a workout. Fit On has been my go-to app. They have like short ones, long ones. They have live classes. It's free. So I've tried hard to do that. I journal. I journal most mornings. I don't want to truly write about what's going on. That sounds weird. But there's a part of me for some reason that doesn't really want to remember this, and I don't know why. Yeah. So I just write what I'm grateful for. I write my accomplishments from the day before, something that made me happy, something that made me smile. And then my 3 results I want to accomplish for that day. And that's been my go-to. There's other things you can do. Visualization, you can do spirituality. There's a lot of different things you could shake into that. And then I think the other thing is like, high five yourself. I binged Easter egg, like what on earth? Like Easter's coming, Reese's peanut butter eggs, like in plethora amounts. I have pounded bags of that and I'm like, I don't do this. Like, I don't even know what's happened to me. And that's okay. Like I tell people, just give yourself grace and give yourself love. I think right now that's the most important thing. Don't beat yourself up if you didn't get something done. Don't harp on yourself because you should be more productive. Well, guess what? There are no shoulds right now. I think as long as you're trying your best, and whatever your best is, it will look different from day to day.
Yeah.
High five yourself that you did that.
There's a meme that's been going around the internet where it's like, during this extended time off, you should be reading a book a week, starting a side hustle, like all the things that we think we should be, like completing house projects, all the things that we think we should, but then there's like a big X through it. And it's like, or just the fact that we're living through a traumatic time and you're getting through it, like, is just okay. You know, like,
yes, exactly.
And I love what you said, because I've tried on purpose intentionally to have that filter with people where I'm like, hey, right now everybody's really dealing with stuff. And so if somebody is a little edgy, a little off, you get an email, it's not quite as well written as it should be, just to have that like grace that just covers that and gives that person, you know, that room. I think for me, I value control so much that when something like this happens, I think that's the big part of it. For me, it's just like, yeah, it's tough. I actually, like Mark, well, my birthday was last month and I was actually out at Mark's place doing a project for him, and he gave me the Four Futures journal. So,
yes, it's awesome.
Yeah, so it was actually super well timed. So I've been, started like 3 weeks ago, that Monday, picked this up. You know, here's what's interesting. If I'm being completely honest, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm probably way more optimistic about my journaling and the week. And by the time I get to Thursday, Friday, I'm kind of like, am I allowed to just say this sucks and I don't want to do this, you know?
Exactly.
And so, you know, but like that discipline of just going, I don't know, it forces you to think through what are the opportunities today and in the future, and not just get focused on, you know, what's happening. So
absolutely. I think it's important. I've tried, like you said, to try to visualize who I want to be in the future. Yeah. Because I really do believe like what we focus on, we achieve. So I don't want to be this chaotic, stressed person. And to your point of control, something that's really helped me is I like control too. I think we all do, but pain and suffering comes from resisting. So if we are resisting, that's a lot of times where our pain and suffering can come from. Like we're resisting. I mean, the fact that something happens doesn't cause pain. It's our emotion we attach to it. And so I tried hard to realize, like, guys, we're flowing down a river right now. And I can either hold on to a branch and kick against this river and say I'm not going down, or I can let go. And yeah, it's terrifying. That let go and flowing down the river is really hard. Yeah. I think if that's a visual for me to be like, Kiera, stop resisting. Like life will take you where it's meant to go and it will be perfect and it will change. But focus on where I want to go, directing that as much as I can, and then accepting the bumps and the bruises and the excitement and the flow and the rapids. That's a much more enjoyable process than trying to be, it's hard. I have a lot of clients and they're like, I'm failing as a mom. I can't even get anything done. And I'm like, you're surviving right now. Like, that's okay. Yeah. Don't stress. Maybe it's you get 15 minutes in the morning to read a book, or you maybe call on those lenders that you need to call, and that's it. And that's okay. But I think that's recalibrating, resetting our expectations of ourselves and what's realistic of, like, that's where it's at. And I think that this is an opportunity for all of us to become more self-mastery of self, as opposed to maybe checking all the boxes. And if you're checking the boxes, keep going. And if you're not, that's okay too.
Yeah. No, I mean, I follow into that for sure. And I think this has just been a really good time, because I'm the guy where they keep pushing the deadline, or not the deadline, but they keep pushing things back. Because at first I'm like, okay, this is 2 weeks. Like, we got this. Like, everybody.
Same.
And then they extend it like another 2 weeks, and you're like, okay. And, you know, like when people start talking about July 1st right now, I'm like, I can't like stop. We can't have this conversation.
No, that's too far.
Right. Because that's me like letting go of the branch and going down the river, which is probably just what I need to do. And then once everything opens back up, then I'm so thankful. I'm like, oh, grateful for it. But it's just hard.
I'm not there. I'll tell you, I'm like I heard an office told me they're not going to be open until July. And then I heard another state's not open until September. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like,
Yeah.
you've got to stop. This is insanity.
I know.
And so I think it's more, what do we have control over today? Where do we want to go? And then surrounding yourself with really positive things. That's why I love what you guys are doing. I think you and Joanna are some of the most positive people that are just a good influence. And I've told people, like, guys, if you haven't done your website yet, prime time. Josh and Joanna are amazing at that. Do the things that you have control over now.
Yeah.
And maybe pick 3 projects and that's it. Or maybe pick 1 and work on that. But no, Josh, I'm right there with you. And I'm like, oh, mercy. Because you lose steam. You lose that excitement, that motivation to want. It's like, oh, now this marathon's got to go on for another 2 more months. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
No, I get into like civil liberties and stuff. I'm like, you can't tell me to stop working. Like, is that even constitutional to shut down people's businesses? I'm like, at some point this has to end. But but then like the virus people are like, Josh, but people are dying. And I'm like, oh yeah. No, you're probably right.
Yeah, exactly.
So look, when you're talking to your clients right now and I'm sure at the first, you're probably like us, first couple of weeks, it's like panic management, crisis management. Yeah. But at some point the conversation starts turning towards, okay, here's what the future is going to look like. Here's things we can do. Here's opportunity. What are those conversations been looking like with you and your clients?
Yeah. It's crazy because it's still like, even now there's some that are still crisis management, and it's like, okay, like, let's look at these things. So I really worked through them of, first and foremost, let's figure out your cash flow, your business strategy, and your marketing. Like, get those things dialed in because those are your top 3 urgent needs. So let's take care of that. So there's a lot of things with the loans and all of that. There's also a lot of things with staying on top of your marketing, your social media, things like that. And then your cash flow, like, know the plan of what's going to happen. If you hit this benchmark, like, this is what happens. And really, I did that for my business, and I have so much calm. And that's what my clients have done. You have more calm because you have a plan of what's going to happen, which gives that control. So you literally know, if my cash flow gets to X amount, this is what we do at this point. So I really think that helps a lot. And then from there, a lot of clients, it's crazy, like things that I didn't expect. I mean, I just had a new client sign up and sign for a year contract with me. We did an 8-hour virtual training to set their quarterly rocks up, their core values, their mission statement. And I was so impressed because he got his leadership team together. We're using this time. I just got off a meeting with them to teach them how to run these productive, effective leadership meetings. And they're doing that right now. Yeah, his team's furloughed. And so he pulled the leadership team together to do that. And I love that forward thinking. That one like excites me because this is someone who's not sitting here in crisis mode. He's saying, hey, we have struggled with this. We have time. My leadership team can build out the ops manual right now. They can do these things. Let's do that. Other offices, they're working on their operations manual. I will tell you that that's probably my number one request I'm getting right now. People are realizing, let's get the ops manual. So actually, this is like a sneak peek. I haven't announced it to anybody, so I'll share with you guys. We're actually going to run a 4-week for free mastermind. We're going to call it Workshop Wednesdays. Not this Wednesday because we have a breakout with the coaches, but starting April 15th through May 6th, we're going to run a 4-week operations manual mastermind. So you don't just come for free. It's on Wednesdays at 12 o'clock Pacific. We're going to run those because I feel like people need some hand holding right now. I just need guidance. Like, what's step 1? How do I even start this?
Yeah.
So doing that. And then other clients we're reviewing systems. We're looking at systems and then really nailing that insurance AR, like keeping that cash flow coming in. And teledentistry is also a really cool thing. They can do exams. So I think, and people, I read another thing and some people said, I don't want to do teledentistry. Like, this is ridiculous. And I thought, oh, brother, like, get on the bandwagon because it's going that way. So like what we're doing now is going to continue on. So let's build some systems around that. And then others, we're doing some strategic planning of how do we actually schedule back, like the talk of hygiene. Is it going to create a lapse in your hygiene recall? And what do we do? So strategic planning, how that's going to roll out. How do we actually, instead of just calling our patients today to move them, building an actual strategic schedule so you're more productive, you're more profitable, you have better patient care when you get back into the office. So a lot of those types of things, I think it's more, I have a lot of offices right now who are strategic thinking of, I need to create a plan. I need to create protocols. I need to create social media marketing right now because I've got the time to do that today Whereas when I'm back in the office, we're going to be like guns a-blazing doing all of our patient care. So I think that's how they're shifting their mindset. What can we do today to prepare for when we're back in the office? Like build all the videos so I don't have to build those videos. They're ready to go for social media.
Yeah, gosh, because I would think you guys would be positioned to really be such a valuable resource through this time of helping practices. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, and I know you hear this every day, but like just don't have time to work on the systems of the practice, which is why they even hire you to begin with. And now it's like, you've got the time, like, so let's get through some of it. We were talking before we got on. I mean, we've had some of that too, just surprisingly, just a good new client kind of acquisition the last couple of weeks. But in the midst of this, like when everybody's kind of running one way and panicking, we've had a couple people go look the other way and say, I think this is a good opportunity to work on my marketing. And so I think that's right. When we start scheduling back, it's going to be the challenge for me that I'm starting to think about is you've got 8 weeks or whatever of hygiene recall that has to get rebooked. Yep. And yet I feel like there's going to be this increase in new patient demand because they couldn't find a dentist for a couple months. How are you advising people? Because I'm almost like looking at it going, if you just try to like get your existing patients back, then you probably are not going to have any time for new patients. And then they're going to go looking. And I think that's why all the startups are really excited right now, because they're like, we could be launching in an ideal time. What are you seeing along those lines?
Oh, this is like giving advice in a zone I don't know, because I don't know what it's going to be. But I will tell you, we've kind of brainstormed this out. And actually, if people want to join this week, Wednesday at noon, we're doing a coaches breakout. So if you want to join us, we're actually there's a breakout room for scheduling of how to schedule when you come back. We're also doing a hygiene room. So training your hygiene team right now to tee up treatment, because docs are going to need that. They're going to help you because you'll be busier. We're also doing a marketing and social media room. And we're going to do a billing room. So all 4 of those rooms will be running simultaneously. You choose which room you want to go to, and we'll send you access to all the other ones. So this Wednesday at noon, we're doing workshop Wednesdays. That's what I've decided to call it, workshop Wednesdays. So, and we're actually going to talk about the scheduling thing, because there's a couple different mindsets to think of. One is, well, let's just do exams because we don't want to have a lag in recare. My gut tells me, and I don't know for sure, I've read a few tricklings. My gut says, because the other thing is, well, if we see all of our recare patients today, in 6 months, it'll lag because we're going to like beef it up right now, and then we won't have it. So it's always going to be this lag. My gut tells me, and I read some things, I'm like, I can't say this for sure because I don't see it and I don't want to promise something that's not there. I can't imagine insurance companies being sticklers on that 6-month window if it's due to COVID. So I think the insurance companies will actually benefit you guys. So then you could see all your patients right now. You could actually figure out how to do assisted hygiene, get all those hygiene patients in, because the hygiene will feed the doctor's schedule. So, and also maybe running one doctor of hygiene, and then run assisted hygiene, because you'll have assistants right now that if we only are doing one column of doctor, we have assistants for you to do assisted hygiene. So you could max your ops out. Also, I'm strongly suggesting to offices to build a true block schedule right now. You just got a like clean slate of no patients in there. So you can actually, because a lot of people complain, I can't build a block schedule because it's full of patients. It takes 6 months to execute it. Well, you were just gifted a clean slate. So let's actually build a perfect block schedule, because you're exactly right, Josh. If they don't build in for new patients right now, you won't be able to get them in, and you're going to hurt yourself because you didn't build space for your new patients. So I would strongly suggest you've got to block out spaces for those new patients. I'm kind of the opinion, of course, I'm going to wait to see what insurances say, because my opinion might change. But we did read that insurance companies said if it's due to COVID, that you'll be able to actually not follow that 6-month window. So again, I'm going on a limb of something I don't know for sure concrete of what states, what insurance company, but I've already seen tricklings, and I can't imagine, if insurance companies don't want a bad rap, that they're going to hold and be sticklers to that 6-month window. Now, insurance companies tend to do their own thing. So if the case is that they won't do it, I might suggest you even roll patients into like your in-office membership plans. So it's not impacting your hygiene. You can beef up that 6-month period where we didn't have patients. So you're not having the effects of COVID even later on. So that's kind of what we're recommending. I also think it's a great time to learn how to do assisted hygiene to prepare for that. You'll have those assistants hanging out, and it's going to feed your schedule. So
Yeah, so many really good ideas there. I mean, I was thinking assisted hygiene, block schedule, I think is brilliant. And especially
Yeah.
just to protect some of those new patient slots. And I think you're right. Like if you've never done it, then you kind of just don't have the excuse now anymore.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
extended hours, I think is probably going to be something
Mhm.
like everybody's enjoying the time off to as much as they can now. And I think it's going to be a period of probably just a ton of production. I mean, I think June, July, whenever everything reboots, is probably going to be the biggest month for everybody ever in dentistry everywhere, you know, in the
And
country.
that's time to, I'm so pro. I'm like, guys, you've got to train your scheduling team to
Yeah.
not just schedule wherever. You have to be, that's where you need that block, because you don't want them putting a ton of crown seats in when you're trying to hold it for implants and bigger production that can help. And absolutely, I've been super curious. This is something I'm curious what it'll shake. I'm feeling like extended hours are going to be something that's no longer just a
Yeah.
nice thing, but
Yeah.
almost a necessity, because I'm worried that a lot of people might have lost their benefits.
Yep.
And so therefore they don't have PTO time, or they've used it all, so they can't actually take time off to go to doctor offices. So
Yep.
therefore extended hours are going to be necessary. So I'm not sure. I'm super, or maybe Saturday hours once a month. I think there will be a lot of things. And I tell offices, plan to be adaptable, plan to think outside the box, and to pivot, because you don't want to be the one that's like firm and hard fast, and all your buddies are doing it differently, and
Right.
all your patients shift because you chose not to pivot and change.
Yeah, I think there's some of this where I've kind of been like, hey, there's probably a little bit of a grieving process here, because I think the way we all thought dentistry should be, I don't know that it's going to be like that. And I don't think it's like this revolution, like whole 180, but I think things like that have been on the fringe, like extended hours, membership plans, teledentistry or virtual consults. You know, and I'm a big fan of that, because I think then in this like single doctor model, you know, you've got 5, whatever ops, you're limited. You go in from 8 to 5 or whatever that is, you know, 4 days a week. I mean, 32 hours. You have all this other time that you have fixed expenses for. And so I think the extended hours, now look, the single doctor is going to probably be a little bit of a burden because it's on one person. But if you have an associate situation, you can bring in and extend hours and go 7 to 7, you know, 5 days a week, half day on Saturday, whatever. I think that's going to start to become more of a norm through this. I mean, gosh, I think you're totally right. And teledentistry, I don't like that word. It sounds like the 80s for some reason to me. Like it sounds like 90s, like telethons or something. But so I've been trying to say like virtual dentistry more, and just like connecting with people more in a virtual format. But do you see that playing more of a role too?
That's going to be huge. And I tell people, like, stop resisting and embrace it.
Yeah.
Because the cool thing is, think of all that chair time that was wasted on things that you don't actually have to do. So, I mean, you can send all your trays for ortho, send those trays out if they've got it. They do a virtual check-in. You don't even need to have them in there. I mean, people rag on Smile Direct Club, and I'm like, look at them as a sweet model of things that they did really well. No, I don't think everything they did is right, but a lot of their principles were good, and they were futuristic thinking of where it's going to go. I mean, so many limited exams, if we could just do virtual consults, could that save your chair time? Other things I started, this is my like wild idea that I hope somebody picks up and does, because I think maybe it'll be the worst idea. Maybe it was terrible, but I'm like, I think like real far-fetched, like drones right now are used for sending life-saving. So they'll like send one of those packs to patients when they're dying. And so they use drones because it's faster than an ambulance. And I was like, okay, what about big cities? What about like New York and New Jersey and LA? Do you have patients that can't get to your practice because of driving, and so they're always having to Uber? Could you drone certain things to them, and could you do different things? I have no idea, but start thinking in those processes of what could you do? And instead of rejecting it and being like, this is dumb, I don't want to do this, look to see how sweet it is. Because I also think, how many of maybe your front desk girls that have kids that are now out of school and there's nowhere to put them, can they work remotely? Do you have to have everybody actually in the practice? Could you have a billing center offsite? Could you have phones? And like, should you have somebody offsite answering all these calls coming in to schedule more effectively with that block scheduling template? Those types of things, I think, there was a quote that said, ask better questions and get better answers. And right now I think instead of saying like, well, when it gets back to normal, guess what? Normal doesn't exist, and grieve that and be sad to lose normal. It's going to look different, and embrace how it's going to look different, how great it could be for you. Because I think there's a lot of cool things. I mean, I even have a dentist who rotates Monday through Saturday, but they only work 3 days in an office, and they do 7 to 7, and it rotates every week. So they're open all those days, but the practice only physically works 3 days a week, and they just shift it around. It works amazing for that practice. So think differently. When people are zigging, you zag and start to think of those opportunities, because they're there. And I'm actually really excited for it. I think it's going to be, I think the things we're going to come up with are going to just blow our minds that we didn't even think about it beforehand. So.
Yeah, I love that. Embrace the potential for a revenue stream happening outside of like offsite. You know, somebody's at home virtually or whatever. I think that right there kind of starts to blow people's mind, but like that's completely doable.
Think of yourself on a beach doing consults for dentistry, and you're getting paid to sit there sipping on whatever you choose. Yeah. And that could be your reality. I think when we start to see it, like you said, it's so cool. Like that stuff is so cool. Things that you never were able to do before. A dentist, to make money, you had to be in the practice, or you had to have an associate that you were paying to be there for you. Well, this just opens up a whole world of freedom that you never would have thought of without this. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Well, look, I totally appreciate you and the way you think and being here and sharing your thoughts. So thank you so much. I definitely want to let you go, because I know time right now is just crazy. It's so valuable. So I appreciate you being on. Look, you guys have workshop Wednesdays. If they want more information, reach out to you. Where's the best place to connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, just so you know, everything on the Dental A Team, we put it at 50% off for all of you. So if you want any of our courses, you want our training videos, you want our operations manual, we just slashed everything. It's 50% off, and all products are coming with a coaching call. So you'll actually get a coach to help you, because a lot of it's like, I don't know where to start. Like, I bought it, but now what? So everything on there, I've tried really hard to think, what do you guys actually need? So pop on over to thedentalateam.com. We also have, if you do / strategy, that page also, I have a ton of free resources on there already for you as well. So either one, if you want product or you want free resources. And Kaylee is she's just great. She is jam-packing like a Google Drive for you guys on the strategy page we're doing scripting. We've got downloadable forms for you. So pop over there. And then if you want to email us, hello@thedentalateam.com is the best way. And we can do a strategy call with you. We can honestly shoot me a text. I'm happy to help out in any way we possibly can.
Yeah. I love it. And you guys are producing podcasts like all the time too, right now.
Yes. Yeah. The Dental A Team podcast. Right now I'm doing a lot specifically for COVID. I just recorded some today for like, how do you do same day treatment and building that process, because you're going to need that. How do you work with financials, treatment plans? You could learn that right now. So when your team's there, you're more effective with that. So I'm trying really hard to build up a bank of information to where if you want to build a protocol, or you want to like how to maximize downtime, what to do with your team, just so you guys, I help take the thinking out of it and give you a way for your team. And they're like 15, 20 minutes long, or how long they all are. So yeah. Josh, thank you. I hope people come to you, because honestly, you guys are so fantastic at what you do. And now's the time, if you guys have ever wanted to switch your marketing game. Josh, you guys are truly one of the best in the business that I've seen. So thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. I know that you're not typically a big fan of marketing companies, from what I've heard. So it sounds like we kind of made our way into your
I'm not, guys. I'm super jaded on marketing companies, like super jaded. But you guys are amazing. You guys are working on one of our websites for us, and it's been fun to be one of your own clients going through it, to see just the expert level that you do, the way you make it so simple, the way you capture things that I don't even know how to put into words. I mean, you guys built out our color board, you built out our logo, you built out so many little details, where I just gave you a few little pieces of things I like, and you created everything I wanted. So I'm going to say, guys, I've worked with a lot of website companies. I've worked with a lot of marketers, and honestly, Josh, you and Joanna are incredible with who you are as people, and that translates into your business. And it's so simple, and it's been very easy, and it's been very fun. And so I'd say, if you guys are even thinking about it, you guys have been fantastic.
Oh, that's super nice. Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, and honestly, I mean, I don't even take credit for it. Our team is amazingly talented, and I saw the you're talking about the Women's Dentist Connect
Yeah.
site that we're putting together, and I saw it the other day. And yeah, it's pretty sick. So
It's so beautiful. Yes, you guys are so nice. Joanna emailed me, and you guys are helping us with our Women Dentist Connect. That's our sister company. So for all those women doctors, we have a sister company to Dental 18, and
yeah.
hopefully we'll see if life's back to normal in November doing that. And I'm so excited, Josh, because you guys have been building the site, and just to see the board of like our pictures and the mood board, I was like, yes, you nailed it. Like that's everything I feel, the colors I like, the vibe. It was incredible. So
that's cool. It was over here in my list of questions and just didn't get to it. We were just talking other things, but yeah, you guys have that coming up November. So we'll see. I mean, I would think everything would be fine by then. And, but yeah, would love, I think like that's one of the things I'm man, the guys that have had to cancel conferences, I just feel bad for, because that's there's definitely all this online learning is amazing. And it's going to take us to new heights, but there's just something about that in-person experience too, around conferences, especially, that I don't know that we're ever going to get away from. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. You guys will be there. So I'm excited. We'll see. It's in November. I thought it was far away when I originally booked it. I'm like, oh, maybe it was for the best.
Yeah, as soon as you hear somebody's not reopening till November, you're going to trip out.
Stop. I mean, can you imagine we're all still sitting here? I can't imagine that world. Like,
no.
There's going to be too many crazy things that'll happen in this world if we're all stuck at home for that long. So,
yep.
Yes.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for sharing your day with us for sure. I totally appreciate it. We'll see you soon, I'm sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for having me on and letting me talk to your audience and just be a part of your guys' family. It means a lot, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. Well, stay safe. And if you need anything, let us know. But guys, this is such a great time to take advantage of Kiera and the Dental A team and what they're doing. So please reach out. You need some of these systems like implemented. Like let's just be real, get in touch, get it done.
So awesome. Thank you, Josh.
We'll see you.